Oh.
So sorry. So sorry, guys. I forgot to unmute my mic. I feel like a noob. My bad.
Okay.
That's your real voice?
No.
What was that?
That was my friend talking.
It was? Sound...
I do feel like that.
I have garbage.
Oh,
Oh, you have a lot of voices.
No, that wasn't me.
no, that was me, Taz.
That was Taz.
Oh! Shit.
Oh, there goes my family on the stream. GG boys, check me out on Twitch.
GG.
Alright, GG. This game is so garbage. You know what?
Trying to recruit people, man. That's the best way to do it. What? Hello, does anybody have a mic?
I know the speaking preaching.
Thank you so much for the follow. It's Mercute.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Hola, amigos.
Hola.
Hello.
Hola.
¿Hablas español?
Un poquito.
Ah, ya.
Pero me gusta a cantar Taki Taki.
Ah,
¿Conozco Taki Taki?
no.
No, no Taki Taki. Okay.
Abajo, no. Abajo, arriba.
Abajo.
Ah, ya. Ya estoy arriba.
Oh, no way. Okay, let me get out of here. No, me no speaking Spanish. What happens when you get random lobbies, my friend?
Abajo.
Get him, boys.
Wow.
Let me know, scope him. Oh!
Ah, sí, los toditos elegantes.
Should do it at 5 a.m. What you talking about, bro? All Japanese people.
Puta madre, así me confundo, deja de disparar, weón.
¿Dónde hay gente?
Trying to get there. No. Aww.
Ahorita Leo ya voy.
Lele, ya fue, va. Hasta la pico elegante.
Solo más. Ya yo voy a revivir.
Duly noted, my friend. Did y'all pick up his card? La tarjeta? Tiene? Tarjeta?
Soy bilingüe.
Yay, amigo.
Se leo.
Hay gente abajo.
Ya. Este es ráfaga. Listo. ¿Has agarrado?
It's underneath my stream. But then again, I've said that before, and it's like, it's not there. What happened, bro? Fighting people?
Leo, vamos al mapa.
Ya, vamos. ¿Dónde?
Ya descentró. Esto me ha servido un poco.
Oh, you're on mobile.
Dame el episodio de ráfaga.
Hello, robust train. 9811. How'd you doing?
Don't shoot at me! Hey! Amigo!
Hay gente, hay gente, hay gente.
Gente, vamos!
El
Hey.
Miguel.
Oh god, I think that will kill me.
Donde
I
marca hay
didn't know.
gente.
Oh, Edward, what up?
Paso. Ah, tiene un franco.
Really wanna know where that missed.
A Mario.
Es solo uno, es solo uno.
Oh, es Charlie. No, tienes que meterle la pistolita. Es ráfaga.
Levantarme. No ha salido, tío.
Recoge las tarjetas, recoge
Coge la
las
tarjeta,
tarjetas.
la
Go, 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 go! Cards, cards, cards! Tarjetas, tarjetas. I got a blanket marker.
Ya fue.
Voy a agarrar la tarjeta, la tarjeta, la tarjeta.
Oh, no, 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 no. Oh.
Desapareció, mira.
Oh, zone. Are you kidding me? Tarjetas, tarjetas. No! No! Ah.
Abandona la partida, te envía solicitud ya. Hay que jugar un escuadrón. Ah, no, no.
Te
Envía
invito.
solicitud, acepta y te
amigos.
invito. Acepta. Acepta, puto.
Oh, there's a... Don't send me friend requests. Follow me. Change my username to don't send me friend requests.
Hello?
Hello?
Dude, like, I'm really, really bad. Maybe you could, maybe take my first win.
Okay.
And dude, should I be doing this or should I don't know, dude. So see, I started a week ago, okay? But I have skins. Like, I found that stuff. And my problem is, I don't know if I should wear those skins or just a default skin because I'm really bad at the game. So should I like be an actual noob to show like the real truth, or should I be like a noob for the skin? Like that's my question. Like,
That's a very, very good question.
like, you know what I mean? Like you got skins, do you want to use them? Because
I understand.
like I don't know.
I say this,
Yeah, I'm
you be
only-
you, boo. How about that?
Yeah, sure, that works. Dude, sweet. Okay, you want to attack? I have attack for you.
Let me check this place out real quick.
Because there was a pump, so I took that as an attack.
Oh.
Dude, did people land here?
Yeah, some people landed with us.
Oh, dude, there's attack right here. Found it. Oh, dude, help, help.
In your way?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna get him on the roof.
oh god. I have a shotgun. Ready to shield? Yay!
Did I hit him? Oh, dude, you have that skin?
Yeah. My friend alone. Leave my friends alone.
Conversation starters? Let me think. I got nothing. Oh!
He killed all of
GG's.
us.
Hey, check me out on Twitch
Wait.
though.
Okay. Well, I have one question though. Do you want to friend me and you can lead me to a duo win?
Oh my. At least I'm trying and I'm playing, okay? You mean noob? Ain't no dang noob. Alright. I want to do squads, but it don't fit with you. Okay. Turn off my voice. Oh. See? It won't fill. Just do duos, Edward. That's nice. I got this one. Oh yeah, that was nice. Surprised Phantom's not. Oh, he's on. But he's not on. Fix that bot. Okay. Where is it? Alright. Try hard mode activated. I'm not gonna say it out loud. Say that much. So I'm just gonna stream for a little bit, guys, and then I'm gonna go walk my dog. I won't stream for that long. Then maybe tonight I'll stream a whole lot more. Don't bully me, okay? Okay. What kind of dog do I have? What kind of dog? Australian Shepherd. Don't you die me, Edward. You hang in there. Ooh, Leonard? I'll get your card, Edward. You hold on. Little girl. Get that up there. You're in a fight with somebody else. Why are you focusing on me? Ooh, and you know he was. Let's see it. Oh my goodness, all I had to do was sneeze on him. Heck yeah. Where is it? I wonder if it sent it. Oh man. Oh, why did it throw it up there? Why is it not working? Can you invite me? It's a girl dog.
There we go.
I don't know why it's not working. It's not
It's working.
showing that it's sending. It's weird.
Okay. Alright, there we go. Alright.
Read.
Time to turn on the stream.
Oh, you. Oh yeah. That's right. You're streaming too. I forgot.
I'm on Twitch and YouTube now, so.
Nice. You're using Restream.
Mhm.
Nice. Do Mixer as well.
Oh, I might have just joined someone. Never mind, I didn't. Okay.
Do Mixer because they have something like if you get like to end game or something like that, and it's like juicy and exciting, they'll have a bunch of people watch it. It's cool.
Oh well.
Just got the stream notification. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess Ehard's following you as well.
Is he?
Yeah, he said he got the notification. Man, that guy was freaking one tap.
Exactly, 11 HP.
That was a joke. It happens. We got the dream team. We got this. I keep telling everybody.
Thank you for the follow.
Stop sending me friend requests.
Yeah, I made you and Mark with mod, by the way.
Follow me on Twitch. That helps so much more. You know?
Since I only have one monitor, I can't look at like notifications. I have to look on my phone, which is really annoying.
Not the first one that's a boy, but the second one, Mark.
I need to get a really cheap monitor.
Do it, Hazel. Oh yeah.
$10 one.
Get a TV. Get a TV, bro. And get an HDMI cord or whatever.
There's a kid on me.
That's what Evil Third Hole was doing for a little bit. Oop. Premature shot. Wrong button.
That one?
Yes.
Hit him with a jump shot.
Oh, he hard.
Oh, dude, he one-tapped me. Oh my god.
Those are scary, right?
I couldn't even hear him.
They come out of nowhere.
Grab that RPG.
RPG?
Because there's another vending machine. Palm please. Yeah.
Okay, let me go get your cards. See if I survive.
Wait, is it?
Wow, there's literally one right there.
What's the other one? Wait, there's another person.
Yeah, it's a pump.
There were two persons.
Okay, look
I'm
here.
try to grab it.
Oh, E-Hard's way. Let me get E-Hard's first. Then I'll go for you.
And then you can sprint over. I'm at 30 seconds. I don't know if you're gonna make it.
Yeah, I'll get there. Well.
When you hit those, John.
I do hit these. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. He has a scar, dude.
Does he?
That's so unfortunate. Yeah, you're not gonna come out. Yeah, they're sweaty. Hey there.
Whose idea was it to go tilted? I just go where it's marked, my friend. My bad. We can go to non-sweaty areas.
Yeah.
South country.
On Twitch it says I have 3 viewers, but then on the actual stream it says I have 2. I don't understand.
Maybe Hard is
Okay, apparently I have 2.
watching you.
Yeah. But Twitch is broken, dude.
By the way, if you're still there, silence it. Hey. Didn't mean to ignore you. The girl dog. Stream sniping both of y'all. Bots, JK, I'm the only bot. Oh, he typed in yours as well? Or you're watching? Oh. What in the world? How'd he do that?
Control C or hold down Control C or no, hold down copy and then hold down paste.
And you can type in 2 streams? Yes!
Obama. Just
Has its own apps.
I don't know it ever. I don't play with you enough to
Okay.
Good job.
Okay.
Oh, he's not good. Oh, he is good.
I'm fine now.
He's not good, he's good.
I'm doing fantastic. This other cat run off to.
Got you.
I don't want to fall all the way down, but okay.
I do not have shotgun. Give me the pump, boy. I just got a purple pump. Oh, John's popping up.
36 shield on one guy.
I'm coming. Where are they? Oh,
I don't know. Trying to find him. I find a needle in a haystack.
Just next to Edward.
No, Edward.
I got him.
Oh, okay, go.
Oh, is that a?
There's
I
one more?
That blue back there. Take that blue back. I need AR ammo.
Oh yeah, there's one
Need
more.
AR ammo. Anyone spare air? They rebooted.
Oh, one more guy.
Got him.
I was looking for him. What the heck? I have AR ammo. I'll drop it whenever I get picked up. I got 63. Stick it, stick it, stick it, stick it. Whoa.
I need shotgun ammo as well.
Oh, okay. I'll drop some. This is Jow's country. Here we go. Dropped it, dropped it.
Yeah, there's still kids. He's on me.
Oh, man. Healing up, healing that for a second.
He's on top, got him.
Nice.
I'm lagging.
Ooh, took care of that kid.
Dude, I lagged so hard. I was spraying and hitting every shot. Oh yeah, dude, I need mini ammo as well, because everything of mine.
2 of this guy had.
I don't know where any of my loot is on. I'm pretty sure Edward has some.
There. Got that.
Edward, there's ammo. There's bandies on me.
Oh, I'm fine. Well, you hard need. Man, everyone and their mom came over here.
I have 5 kills. Since when, dude?
You're popping
There's
off,
like
dude.
2 or 3 squads.
Hey, I'm back. I had to do something. Alright, cool.
3 total squads roughly came here.
Welcome back. The stream sniping. The stream sniping you and stream sniping me.
I'm lagging. Very, very bad.
Are you?
I can't build. Oh, oh, I can build it. Hello. Alright, I need mini ammo. No, I'm fine.
Place is still unlooted.
It's like James Bond.
For real. All I hear is I need.
No, not that. Like,
oh,
because I have like no ammo. I remember I killed 1 and then Edward got his loot. I killed 2, but their loot is gone.
let's see. Nothing great. I gotta remember to follow you, Chris. Really?
Oh, Edward said he needs ammo for all weapons.
Oh, okay.
I can't help you with that. Edward,
I have a couple.
No ammo.
Itchies. Where's he at? Well, I don't think they looted. Well, they did loot pretty good amount. Did they miss this one? Ooh, nothing in there. There you go.
Half pot.
Doop. A pot.
Should I give it the half pot?
You want to eat hard? I'll pick up those bandies. That I had to learn, like, to pick up the bandages. That was the biggest thing. Nope, not in there. Nope. Might be stuff in the woods, hopefully.
Hopefully, anyone that's on YouTube right now, I can't read your comments, so if you need to say something important or anything, just head over to Twitch. It should be the same Zachary.
Nice.
Cause I only one monitor. Holy lag, dude.
Oh yeah, you can't use Restream. The chat or whatever it is. That's what I used it. But it doesn't even get everything. It don't get my Facebook sometimes. It feels bad, man.
Damn.
People are talking to me and I'm just like, yeah, ignoring everybody.
Like they're trying to get your attention. And you're just like, hey.
Yeah, I'm just like ignoring them, man. It feels bad, man. They looted that.
See, oh, we're going on zone again.
Set a friend game. Yeah, good posture.
Is there such thing as like claw in mobile? I think there's claw for like consoles, but is there like something like that for?
I keep breaking those trees, Chris. Bad habit. Oh, somebody over here.
Oh, we're not. Just fall back. I'm not gonna grab it.
Alright, they ran away.
Oh, they did? Okay. Where's this treasure map? Because if it's in zone,
Get
it's
it?
in zone. I'm going for this.
Let's go for it. I know there was a bush following me. I'm scared. Bushes know how to shoot. It's Styles Country. Have you heard that one from Blake Shelton? I think it's a good song.
It's somewhere.
Oh no, he hard. No.
You
run
heard, don't
away.
push. Everyone just run.
Run away.
Going for this thing. I see it.
Hard,
It's
run
right in my
away.
view.
Oh my goodness, I hit those.
Oh, he hits those. Clip it.
Now if I can just hit a man that's not moving. He hard, don't fight him. Oh, did he kill both of them? Oh no.
I have a choke, and then over here there is
Another guy.
P90 and Scar. So yeah. No.
I know. I'm distracting the guy.
Alright. I'll be there in just a second.
Oh, he didn't go down.
I'm lagging again. No. Dude. Come on. I'm gonna pop this slurp. BMX. Let's go.
Is he hard floating in the air? What is he doing up there? He's stuck in the air. Oh!
Alright, I'm coming in a baller. I'm coming, John. I will save you. Oh, you ran? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just moving back there.
There's a ball. There's a ball in Pirate Camp.
I mean, they're bots.
There's 2 more. Are they actually?
Yeah. I just don't want to fight by myself.
Do you want the P90 and suppressor card?
Yeah. Where's it at? Then we'll go pick up
Oh,
Edward's
there's
stuff.
another treasure map. It's somewhere around. I think it's like right there or something. All right, this one's directly that way, so I'm gonna grab this. No. Yeah, it's somewhere over here. Both of these are somewhere over here. Oh, it's I honestly have no idea. Oh, wait, is that it? No, it's not. I have no idea what this is. Oh, is that not inside a zone? Oh yeah, dude, that's so far inside of circle.
Where'd my ball go?
That's not. Dude, where is all the stuff? I can't find it. Oh, it's on that one.
Give my ball back. Please and thank you. Alright.
Here, John. The stuff is right. Did you get it?
No, because I picked up Edward's card. Being a good teammate, you know how it is. I don't even know where. Meh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
What's in this chest? Something good? Question mark. Oh, legendary pump. Oh, there's a purple pump. I'm gonna go back for that.
Where's
Deagle?
Hmm.
There's a purple vending here.
Only
No,
revives.
the Deagle's right here.
You have
What's
shields?
in this? Huh?
You have shields?
I have a chug.
Ah. Save it.
If you want,
Nah, just save it. We'll
you
find
could loot
something.
inside of the pirate camp. I saw Kid South, by the way, so watch out.
He's here?
Did you get the full kill? Oh, you did.
Yeah, I got a full kill on that one kid. But I need to pick up E-Hard, and the only place is Salty.
It's time to go to Salt.
Yep. It's the only thing inside his zone.
I'm flying.
You have assault rifle ammo?
a kid on me. Yeah, I got you. I'll try to pick him up. How it's gonna go.
He's shooting at me, bro. Leave me alone.
How's he at? That kid isn't nice. I split air ammo as well. Come on, don't get sniped. There we go.
Alright.
Go ahead and loot Salty for what you can, and then cause it's still in zones. It doesn't look like this house is. No, never mind. This house.
I mean, I hear a chest in here. I don't think people looted this place too well.
Oh, there's a kid over here. Kid on me. Kid on me. By this house.
Oh, just got shot at by a bow. Oh, hit him for 90.
He hits those. Oh,
No.
okay, dude, I can't do this. Nope.
Traded shots.
He's hitting every shot, dude. How did he hit my ball? Okay, this is really fun. Edward, where are you?
I think he's picking me up. Or trying to.
Oh my god! Holy Christ! What is this game? What is this game? A whole entire squad is spraying me. 10 kills?
Yeah, not bad. Let's see. Let's see, maybe somebody else. Well,
Dude, a
probably.
whole squad was just spraying so.
I'm shocked.
I got purple hybrid. I just unlocked like 20 things.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, man. Oh. Trading bell shots.
The aggressive bell.
I would get a bell from a bike and put like the handlebars on my desk, but that would be too extra.
I don't know if I'm able to.
Is everyone
show this
asking to be a mod all of a sudden?
Exactly. I'm not gonna do that.
I didn't even know it existed, so you guys bring it up.
What mods?
Yeah, I mean, I knew there were moderators, but I just figured that streamers just had like Nightbot take care of that stuff. Because it's causing too much drama with the baby mamas. Where we landing there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I'll do it. I didn't mean okay.
I think a couple squads landed.
Looks like it.
I got a sniper pistol. Yep, there's a kid right here. He's one tap. Nice, nice, nice.
A little more.
Another kid. No, there's two more. He's weak. Nice, nice, nice. One more.
There's a tip.
Oh, there's two more.
Oh, they both took care of it. Last guy. You got this?
Let's go.
Atta boy. Squad wipe.
Cool.
You took 2. I took 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, AK is not a good gun to swap to. If trying to get that quick little shot in. Just saying.
Dude, all these kids have blue pumps except that one kid who had a purple.
Yeah, they still couldn't take care of business. Where's
If
the
you need
ER?
ammo,
I'm gonna go pick up ER.
I'm coming up either.
Do we even have a reboot? Oh no, we have to go to Schnabb. I don't think they looted everything. Yeah. That's the fun one.
Yeah.
Well, Snobby too. A lot of tryhards land there. Oh, there's a fireplace right here.
Oh.
Ba-na-ba-na-ba.
Do you need ammo for anything?
No, not really. I mean, I don't know how much assault rifle you have, but I'm
I
okay.
have 144 extra.
144. Yeah, that'd be nice. You gave me a little bit, just a little bit, not half, just a little bit though. How was your math today? It was good. It was a great day.
Oh, do you have any extra minis?
No, I just drank a half pot.
Oh, I'm getting a call on Discord.
Discord. Oh, let me go revive when we're ready. Storm's gonna be coming in pretty soon.
Is there a rift?
No.
Oh, you're going all the way to the one.
Yeah, that's snobby. It's alright.
There's. I don't know if there's any vehicles.
Okay. What was the homily about? About going to church?
Let's just go zone, and then we can pick them up at like Loot Lake or Fulton.
Okay.
Because we have to go zone fast. Because we're on the or not very fast, but we're on the pretty fast side.
I don't know. You're a silly mother. Yep.
Mushroom. Consume.
Oh, no one looted over here.
Those are impulse.
There's a chest.
I'll loot soccer.
Hey, loot here. Nope.
I'm not gonna take. There's a med kit up top.
Over we go. Oh. Well, no, we won't have time for it. If we went to the right of Tilted, there would have been another fireplace. Then we would have been okay. That was the nun party last Friday. I didn't go to a nun party. They came to me. There you go, Ehard. You take care of my chat. Make sure you keep them in line.
Are those your impulses?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. It's closed.
I might
Yeah.
start playing vertical stretch.
I just wanted the ammo. I don't want.
Have you seen the stretch race people are doing now? It's like
What are they doing now?
it's vertical, so because they locked it for horizontal but not vertical apparently.
Hmm.
So they can really just. Is it a slurp?
Minis.
Oh, can I drink one?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Dallas Peterson? Thanks for checking out the stream.
Oh, two kids back. Wait, it might be three. Stay back, just stay back.
Okay, let me get there's a chest in
He's
here.
on me. He's on me.
Oh, darn it. And I just gotta have
He's
fun.
sweating, dude.
Darn it.
Got him.
Nice. His other buddy's coming.
He's got shield. Got him.
Nice.
You guys do not push us, okay?
Drop my
Don't.
minis.
Push us.
Leave us alone. Oh, yeah.
Another kid.
Off.
Got him.
Oh, you're going off. There's still one
Do
more.
not push me. Oh my ammo.
A
you have
big
any
Frodo,
meds?
can I join? Yeah, we'll invite you in a little bit. Yeah, I have, I dropped the minis over there. Let me pick up the minis.
Where are they?
They're over here.
Alright.
Actually, let me just
Dude,
break
I
this
am
wall.
stacked on ammo.
Can you come get them? Can you come get them? I want to carry these bandages.
Dude, I'm drinking these.
Because you don't have redeploy, do you? And look at the zone.
No. Oh, I have a launch pad.
Oh, okay. I'm over here freaking out like, "Ah." I picked those up. I pick up those. Are you using the launch pad right now?
Yeah.
Ah.
Uh-oh.
No, did they shoot it down?
Nope. Yeah, I thought they were. It was close. Just say that. Battle. Oh, okay.
I think Edward fell. I think.
Edward might die.
I might have a, well, I will have a fourth guy. We can play with four. What was that
Dude,
guy?
do you have a cozy or anything? That was so close, dude. That was a no scope as well.
No, I don't have a code.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no. No, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck.
There's a cozy down here. I'm about to take it.
Oh, man. He's even coming over here.
Should I just pop it?
Oh, they're just going back and forth. Give me a second.
Alright.
Give me a second. Almost there.
Alright.
Coming. I'm here.
There.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Just build! Build!
I'm building the top. Oh.
Oh my.
Oh. He's behind us. That trap.
No,
Oh, they blew up the trap.
Edward, come on! They're medding! Edward!
Ah.
Edward, have just sat there, dude. You were just like, hey. Oh, dude, why does everyone spray only?
Let's see. Abdu Frodo. Not even on. Abdu Frodo, what is your gamer tag? Abdu Frodo? Hold on. Trying to get a fourth guy. We could have a chance. What is up with us finding four? Oh, TRS mix. What is up with us running into sweaties?
What's up with people only spraying? Cause
That too.
the only reasons why I'm dying is because they spray. They don't use any other guns. They don't build. They just spray.
Get the invite.
So.
It's not showing on my screen if they're going through.
Oh. There he is.
I'll take that as a yes. I want to ban.
I can do that too.
Can you? Yeah.
Close enough. I'll be right back. I'm going to the bathroom.
Four shares. I'm gonna keep my Facebook right there because I don't know what's going on with my Facebook one. I want to know when I go live. I'll turn on those notifications. Abdu Frodo, you have a mic? No, you do. Oh, okay. Hey, can you do me a huge favor? Can you share my stream?
Yeah, I got you.
Thanks, bro. I know last time you did it like 100 times. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hello? What? Huh? No. Thank you. Got a phone call. I answer those. Okay, where we landing, boys? Right here. Got it. What do you call a fat physic?
Where are we going?
Fatal.
Yikes.
361 eat me. 361 eat me.
After this match, I'm finna see how far I can stay in the sky and see what placement I get.
What? He's lagging.
Oh, so sorry, Dallas Peterson. You said not much. How do I win the giveaway? Oh, hold on. Gotta concentrate real quick. There's enemies.
My game is lagging.
Oh, what a shot! To win the giveaway, you can go to my Facebook page. Do it, bro. Go to my Facebook page. I posted it as a link.
My game is lagging.
And on there, there's multiple ways to enter to win the giveaway. It's not like a scam or anything. Or you just do stuff like follow me on Twitch. Go to my YouTube and all that.
Dude, I cannot hit a shot.
Same.
It's my new friend.
Open on my phone or something.
Why?
I don't know why Restream doesn't give me all the... It does great with Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, no problems. But when it comes to Facebook, I don't get everything. I just get the most of it. Feels bad, man. I want to answer. I want to talk to everybody.
Oh!
Wow. Wow, you're set up for endgame.
Dude, my loadout right now is cooking it.
It's already been an hour.
I'm
Time
lagging.
flies when you have fun. Lagging?
Yoink.
Yeah.
Give me,
And yoink.
stick it. Oh, that's right. I have a chance to come back.
I'm gonna stick it.
Praise the Lord.
Watch this. Bro.
Ooh, watch out. That guy has a crossbow. And he's good with it.
Is he actually?
Is that me?
Yeah, I mean, he beamed me with it.
Oh, are you gonna push them now? Oh, okay. Here, keep him distracted. Keep him distracted.
Okay.
If that involves you dying,
Oh!
it's worth
the-
it because I'm getting 2 kills.
2 for 1.
He's alive.
Can you give me that assault rifle?
Yeah, I got you.
Sweet.
Oh
Yeah.
my
No,
god,
he's down.
so weak.
It's alright. We got a chance to pick you up.
It's a 3 man squad. My bloom is terrible. One's on flush, knocked. Gonna full kill.
That is
Full kill.
enough.
Knock one. Oh,
Yay! Let's go pick up our friend.
Can I
Yeah.
have the bow?
Yeah. I just want the
Yay.
shotgun and that.
I just need I need AR ammo.
I want you
That's-
so bad.
Yeah, I just need AR ammo and then I'm fine.
Okay. Here you go.
Alright, thank you.
Look what I had. I don't know why Beyonce's song keeps ringing in my head. But it's there, baby. And it ain't going anywhere.
The bow is so OP. I love it now. Once I started using it, like,
Bringing you back, Mix. You hang in there, bud.
shotgun on me. Green pump. If anyone needs it.
Got a green one.
Does everyone need it?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I have a medkit for you now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Edward Harrison. I wish I was a man. Is it ready?
Oh, more kids, more kids.
Darn it.
Oh, one's a shield. Knocked one. Got them both.
Wait, don't push, don't push. Oh.
Full killing both.
I'm being a good teammate. Oh. There's one more on the roof.
Is there?
Yeah, let me pick up E-Hard's
He's
card.
pushing me.
Hand your way, hand your way. Oh, there's still one more. Yeah, it's a whole squad.
Got him. Still one left. I probably shouldn't have used both traps because he's a bot, but
No shield.
got him.
Okay, let me go pick him
Juice
up.
man. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get him.
I'll leave your guys' loot there.
Oh, boom, boom, bam. On a boom,
The
bam.
bow is too OP, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I stole your kill cam.
I'm making you look good. I'm being a good teammate. That's all that matters.
See, I let you keep ammo, dude. I keep on a quad up at the west mountain. James Ball would have been like, grab.
I left the guns on the floors. I just picked up the ammo. That's what
Treasure
I...
map on me to get you guys with some food. It might not be in zone. Yeah, that's not in zone. You guys want to go for it, or is it
There's
not
another treasure map over here too that these kids drop.
Does anyone have shotgun ammo?
Yeah,
Ah,
I
I
have
got
a few.
you. Nah, oh god.
Go ahead. I got 25. There,
Here, I
I'll
split
drop.
him.
I'll drop.
Oh, okay.
I got him. I got him. Anyways, you don't need that much shotgun ammo.
Huh?
You don't need that
Well,
much shotgun.
I have 45 kills. Or
Ah.
40. So.
Like shotgun ammo, you can get away 10, 15, no big deal.
I think the most, I mean, SMG is probably the one you use the most because from the least needed to the most needed.
Yeah.
Shotgun, heavy, AR, SMG. And of course rockets are just like, depends on the gun.
Right.
The rocket launcher.
Another map.
Oh, you got the map.
It's up here. Oh.
He's stacked. Oh, we gotta get them bad. Let's see.
Oh, there's a jump truck?
One of y'all take that.
Use it, abuse it. I have a map too.
Yeah, I have a map as well, but it's in storm.
Red, I'll take map. Okay.
Someone glided in, I believe, north. Just watch out.
Oh man, that's a far zone. Yeah, no.
Yeah, let's just take a cannon.
The map is not the best option. Definitely.
My map is like all the way inside of storm.
Mine
I'm
is
gonna hold on to it
salty.
just so people get jibaited. I'm lagging. Don't I love my internet?
You lower your stream
Oh, I have a
quality?
launch pad. Yeah, I'm probably gonna lower in just a second. Like after this. Oh, there's 3 ballers.
Okay.
If we want, do we want to launch a cannon or?
I'll put
Do
it.
we want to take ballers?
Y'all can take ballers and I'll launch myself in a cannon.
The ballers are in here.
Off I go. Bye. Bum ba dum bum ba dum bum
You
ba
there?
dum. I am halfway to zone.
Oh, he launched himself as well.
Whoa!
Flying.
Get mats, boys. We're going to final circle. Oh, unlooted, unlooted,
It's fighting up
unlooted.
here. It's fighting up top.
Oh yeah, I heard people fighting. People fighting. People on me.
Oh boy.
Oh no, you launched too far. Oh yeah, they really are on you.
They want him, dude.
That they do. Ooh.
They want me toes. Oh, golden venom machine behind you, John.
Yeah, no, nothing good though.
Oh, where those gliders?
Oh yeah, I see the guy.
He got boogied. Woohoo! How do we sound? Whoops, didn't mean to do that. He's no shield. Knock one.
Oh my god, he just sprayed me. Oh.
Oh, dude, I just hit myself. I'm weak. They're both weak as well. They're all weak. I'm trying.
Where did I get sniped from?
I'm lagging. Oh, I lag at the worst times.
11 kills that
11
gingerbread man
kills.
had.
His teammate, he's carrying the team, dude.
Yeah, he is.
Alright, I'm turned on. Alright. Do I have to end the stream to turn on bitrate?
Yes.
Alright.
You have to end it and then go to your settings.
Alright, y'all, I'm finna go and lower down bitrate and then I will be right back in like 2 seconds. Alright, output. You said 3500 is good for
Yeah, that's for a normal 720. 3500 is the lowest you want to go ever.
Like 400 to 500. Alright, I'm live. Am I live on everything though? It says 3 viewers on Twitch, and then 0 on YouTube. Alright, where are we going?
There you go. What up?
I
Halo again?
My,
Oh.
okay.
Oh no. Blue Lake. I like Blue Lake.
Alright.
Blue Lake.
TS Lake, yes.
Hey Holding, do you like to eat Brussels sprouts? No.
Never had them.
Yeah. I like what Chris really said. What he said, he was like, everyone be quiet, he's a streamer, he can talk all he wants. I was like,
Who?
yeah, one of my moderators. That was funny.
That's a good moderator. No, John, you got the thing. I dipped on that sniper though.
Where's the sniper? Oh.
'Cause I hit them. Oh! I got you. Oh, kid on me. That's a scope or so. Oh.
Every once in a while, I hit those. There's somebody else that landed in the middle. I just don't know where he went.
Oh, the half. I
Wow.
need a shotgun, dude.
I just found a scar. Wow.
You found a scar.
Here.
And you have a good sniper.
Wow. Purple loadout already. Just gonna say that.
And someone has that, dude. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's Mix. Yeah, boy, Mix. Man,
I'm
we
over
should
here
come here to
rocking
Loot Lake
green
more often.
setup.
Jeez.
It's the loadout I had last time. I need an actual AR, dude.
There's a purple vending machine.
Oh, kid.
Yo, I have also the minis for everyone.
Where's the enemy? Oh, I see him.
33? 32? He's one tap.
Oh.
He's actually one tap.
I don't even think he
He's
has a
not
gun.
Tom Edward. He does.
He does.
My kill's about to get you in. No. Yep, there he is. Okay.
I have 2 pumps extra.
Nice. Good land
Wait,
here
you
more
said you have
often,
minis? You
boys.
said you had
Yeah,
minis?
yeah, I have.
Alright, I'm gonna take them before my half pult.
Hey, drop 2.
Oh, I'm out of mats.
What's called the other guy took it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll go halfway. Meet you over there. With the minis. Flying, boys.
Yo, I see people.
Where at?
They are in 30. Northeast.
Northeast.
I'm finna hit those guys. How much you wanna bet?
21. They have no shields.
Okay, just get
Knocked one.
that kills my chest. Like, oh. Nice.
Buddy.
Hold on.
Let's go. Clip it, dudes. Clip it.
What happened?
Oh my. 108 meter no scope. Headshot, dude.
Nice.
Oh my. Get that. Can I get that kid, please? Dude, no way. Can I get some minions?
Anybody have
Yo,
healing?
I have a
Minions.
Uzi.
Nice.
I need mats as well. Can anyone clip
Oh,
it?
be hard freaking at a chest.
I need mini ammo and I mean I'm not gonna mag though. Oh, John, take that medkit.
I have a code I'm gonna use.
I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy it. Use the pick up the half pot mix.
Yeah.
I told you I hit those. Don't try. I have a rift. No, dude. Clip it. Oh well.
I got 4 right now, painting Croc, but maybe a little later. I have the freaking Blue Angels flying over South Texas. You can hear them over my home.
What kind of RPX is this better? Some kid, I'm assuming that's Frank. He just came in my chat and said penis. There's a rift over here. Do you want to take that and drop on someone?
Use it and abuse it.
There's more. I might just take this one. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because if I need to, I'm gonna rift out. Because I've rifted.
Sweet. Oh man, you're way over there.
Yeah, I'm taking this rift. I'm gonna try to find people, mark them. I do not find anyone. I am in zone though, so that's good. There has to be stuff, right? Doesn't mean nearly cleared out QDQ. someone can carry those.
People are over here using a fireplace.
I'm coming. I have fight. Whoops, did not mean to shoot. Now they know we're here. Someone used the respawn van. Oh, yep, they're... I'm pressure.
Me too.
I'm gonna push.
Just one guy.
32.
36. Got him.
Nice, nice, nice.
More. Oh, there's more people coming. Those are probably these people.
Y'all on the rift out?
Yeah.
Alright. Where are we going?
Anywhere but here. Let's go on top of a mountain.
Is that not in the zone?
This one should be
And there's
in
still
the-
kids here. There's a kid here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Edward.
Oh, where we going?
There's a kid here. I know at least one.
Someone's
him.
coming with a
Down
ball.
Somewhere down here. Someone. Laser the wall. 28, 29. I see the kid. I'm dropping down just a
Someone
little bit.
building from behind.
Coming, John. Is he on you?
Yeah, but how did he get behind? How did he get behind?
I'm coming.
Oh my goodness.
I lasered.
He's underneath the banana.
13 blue. 19 blue. A shield. Knock.
Nice. Going off.
Full killed. Minis. Go. Oh! You hit those, Sean.
Every once in a while I hit those.
I'm going for the trick shot.
Get it?
Nope. I can't see him.
Where the minis
Knock
at?
one? Let's go. I don't know right now. There's a kid on me though. He's on shields. Got him.
Nice. Freaking going off, dude.
Oh, I have a chug for you. I have a chug.
Okay. There's a guy over here. God, that's what I get for
Right,
freaking
where?
marking. Where I marked.
Ah! Mistake was made.
Can't build. 36 shield.
Is he weak?
No. He's underneath you though. Pressuring him. 36 shield again. Oh man. You're getting lazy from the side.
I put his trap. He didn't tag him. Got him.
Nice. Oh,
Oh,
man.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt really bad.
Go for it. Use it. I'm hurt. Oh no. Oh.
I'm going for this truck, dude.
For it.
I'm gonna die zone. Might die to storm.
Chug, 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 chug.
Chug, chug,
Chug it time.
chug, chug.
Good time.
Oh!
You got it.
Yeah,
Wow,
boys.
they even rushed
That's
over
what I
here.
thought. Okay, and they're still somehow tagging me. Okay, I guess I'm dead. I just got pumped super hurt. I got headshot, dude. This game is so terrible. Honestly.
That was smart of him to push the storm, though.
Yeah. It was stupid of him though as well.
Yeah. He knew you were hurt. He ran in. Took care of business. Bow, 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 bow.
TRS Mix is still in the game.
Yeah. Just hanging out.
Do you want to kick him?
Tell you what. I think you're party leader, right?
No, you won't. I'm gonna try inviting Refugee. Please join.
Oh, that he's AFK. He hot
Who?
says. TRS Mix.
Revy's not even live, dude. Oh. I don't have a fourth.
Same. The new one. Ah. Ugly though.
Got some music in here. I'm gonna do it on Microsoft Edge because Chrome lags on my phone. Actually, I don't see this. Do I have to keep Restream on in order for it to work?
No.
Okay.
There you go. Woo, I'm getting cold. I need to turn off my fan.
Wait, you're cold, so you're turning on the fan?
No, I just turn it off.
Oh.
Getting cold. My toes, man. I can't feel my toes.
Open up Spotify. Alright. I need to get some music into here. I didn't want to get Spotify free.
If you pay for Spotify, you get Hulu for free. Because Hulu's going out of business.
Are they actually?
I think so.
I don't have a gun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was like, man, I think I'm dead.
Yeah, jump the shotgun. Wow, okay, I have an AR, so I don't know how much I can do, but I would try to help as much as I can. Why is he running with the shotgun? Let's go, I got the full kill.
Go! Dude! Katie's going up.
Yeah. Slowly but surely. I need to figure out how to put the Fortnite Master thing.
Fortnite Master? Like to host it?
Oh, that's your Vin kid. He's online.
Tiervin?
Yeah, remember that kid?
There you go. I was gonna invite him.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Yeah, it's good.
What up?
It's good. How do I... Okay, no.
Were you waiting for us to invite you?
Nah, I was just invited you guys.
When? I didn't even get it. My game's freaking broken right now.
Alright, how do I listen to music? It's not letting me.
Everything's so complicated when you stream. Not even funny. But you gotta make it look not complicated.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
You got this boat.
Oh!
Okay.
Oh, that was loud.
Oh man. I'm thirsty. Go get something to drink after this one.
Oh, what you guys want to drop?
You choose. Your first game in. So many choices. So little
Yeah, it's
tan.
gonna be Tam.
Oh my goodness, dude. I take back what I said about Microsoft Edge, dude. Holy. That did not work at all. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's way better on Chrome. Because I lagged.
Yeah, Google Chrome's better. All day, every day.
Supposedly,
Here we go.
it's a lot of stuff, but like,
Start beef, bro.
I love Chrome compared to Edge, dude. Edge just seems so egotistic.
A lot of people use Firefox. I'm like, why?
I mean, Firefox is good. I like Firefox, but this isn't the best.
There's a bomber. If somebody wants to grab it.
I'm pretty sure Microsoft or Mozilla is like 10 times better to use, but you know.
Bro, I was watching you on D Live with USA. Oh, cool. So what is D Live, Swazzy Gamer Bad? I know I streamed to it, but I just streamed to it, you know? It's just another option for me.
And my views.
I didn't mean to do that. If you were in chatting in there and you were talking to me, so sorry. It may not have been coming through. So.
Tomato can load you up as mats, dude. Dude, I'm stacked on not ammo.
Picked it up. Make party public so my brother can join, please. We already have 4 though, Edward.
Well, come on, dude. Give me a gun, please. I have 2 shotguns, and that's all.
Bro, I can see your edits.
There's a... Oh, you already have a shotgun. Never mind then.
Yeah, I only have shotguns. That's the problem. Like,
There's a, I have a blue G rifle if you want it.
if you're using it, I'm not gonna take it.
What you talking about, Swazzy?
I don't care.
I'm going towards a map.
Where's the map?
Yeah, I'm the first
Oh,
streamer
there's a grass MG.
that edits so slow that you can see that. Oh, there are people here.
Oh, menus. I already have some. Dude, why did it shoot?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Okay. Wait, where's the SMG?
On the roof.
I already have some. I can carry it. Alright, I'm going for it.
So how'd you find me on D Live? Just wonder. Can you add his open name? Hard LJ.
Dude, why isn't my music turned on?
You know he tried to get a skin for me for free.
Who?
Hard's brother.
Oh.
Man. Does that nobody be here? My goodness, did I have to go far?
Oh, why are you over there?
In a treasure map. I'm gonna pick up this. Oof. I picked up 2 scars. I'm gonna bring a scar to you guys.
Alright. Dude, I need someone needs to make a playlist for me, dude.
I don't know. There we go. You know who has a really good playlist? Avery. I jammed that. Avery.
Who's that?
He's a phase player.
Oh, that guy. Is it on Spotify? Does he have like his own thing on Spotify?
Yeah. But you can't play it in your stream, but yeah. You can listen to it.
What do you mean?
Because of copyrights.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta really be careful with that. Because then your video won't be shown and stuff. Yana, yana, yana.
My video on what?
Like, say you posted a Twitch, YouTube, whatever. Like, they'll take your video down.
Huh.
And if you make any money, they'll take it. It's interesting.
So I have no idea if
well, you
this
can,
music's legal.
You can go to on Spotify. It says no copyright music.
Oh,
Hey, go. Look at this. Just for you.
Epic.
Now I just need a shotgun.
Oh, there's a ton of green pumps like everywhere.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Alright, I'm. See. No,
Here you go, Tervin. Sorry. We gotta drop this. Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Green pump, where are you?
Oh, there's one on top of, right there under. It's like on the second story of your roof.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't seen it myself if I don't seen it. All I know is this song that we listen to better be copyright free because it don't sound like it. Be upset.
I mean, I'm probably not gonna be uploading any videos, so. Or getting money, so.
You never know, my friend.
Sure.
Ooh.
Now, what do you mean making money? Like donations or?
Yeah, donations, bids, subscriptions. But the subscriptions, you don't get them until you reach affiliate. Which is not that hard. You stream for 7 days, I think. Stream for 7 days, 7 different days, stream for 7 hours. And then you have to have an average of 3 people watching you. It's not that hard. There's a lot of people out there that help you out with that.
I think my average is 3. I have no idea.
Yeah. I had to
now
have
like average, like the whole entire time I have to have 3 viewers.
Yeah.
For 7 total days, or is it just like 7 days? Right?
For the
so
7 hours. Like you have to have an average of 3. It gets really hard because like, yeah, they're helping you now, but like say for like an hour you only get 1 viewer. That means the next hour you have to have 6 viewers to keep that average. You know what I mean? So for me to get it, I had to have 14 people watching me, and people from Twitch helped me out. Or not from Twitch, from Facebook helped me out. They were like, yeah, we'll lurk for you in this thing.
Where's the half? Oh, thank you.
Oh, there's fighting in Salty.
Alright, hold up.
Go join him.
I'm not with y'all. I'm gonna launch pad you off.
Oh, well, that's kind of going out
of
as well.
It's cutting in. It's 2.
I'm going.
I'm launch padding. Edward's in trouble. I'm coming over to you guys.
I got we always just ditch you hard.
No, I'm going back because I'm a good teammate.
There you go. Well, Ehart's over here now.
Oh, there's more coming in.
Yeah,
Yep.
now there's 4.
Should I be scared? I should.
Hit him for 24 shield.
Nice, nice.
Oh, yeah. Just my snipe just had to miss that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're getting pushed by another team.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're getting a huge fight themselves.
They're boxing up.
Oh, they used the respawn ban. It's 3 for the respawn ban. One's on flash, one's on flash.
Hit the guy up top really bad.
Yeah, one's on flash.
Oh my goodness.
I'm clingering. I clingered the kid at the top. He fell.
This blue sock is...
Oh, there's a kid behind.
Oh!
No!
He's on flash,
God.
that kid's on flash.
You can pick up shields for me. He's shielding out.
This kid's sweating, dude. Oh my.
The Lynx is the blue Lynx. Really hard.
There's a kid on me.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
That Lynx.
Jesus. Trying to put a heart out.
Dude, I'm scared.
The Lynx is the problem. Everybody else is decent.
I missed my phone. Get out of here, kid. Get back.
Here comes the Lynx.
Oh! This kid's sweating his balls off right now.
Oh, is he right?
I can't place the launch pad. I couldn't place the launch pad.
There's that Lynx.
That kid's honestly insane.
Trying really hard. He hit everything.
He's...
Stop, drop and roll, stop, drop and roll, get it from the goal, everybody hit the flow, oh, can I stop, drop and roll, stop, drop and roll, get it from the goal, baby, pop it, lock and load, oh, can I stop, drop and roll, stop, drop and roll, get it while it's hot.
Alright, chat, we're not gonna talk about what just happened. I may or may not have just broken my desk.
I broke a PlayStation controller in a month because of this game.
Dude, you don't understand the mat. Like, I'm. The thing is popping off.
Ooh. Back at it again while being back at it again. They put in my dog for some reason, I don't know why. I know the Blue Angels are flying over, but hey, that don't matter. Did the Blue Angels go where y'all live?
What's that?
I'll take that as a no. Y'all don't know what the Blue Angels are?
You guys want to go paradise?
Yeah.
Isn't there like a stunt pilot thing?
There you go. My boy, Tervian. But they call them the Blue Angels over here. I don't know if y'all have your own, like, your own states.
I don't know.
Come on, guys. Y'all need to go outside and go look at the Blue Angels. Go look at the airplanes fly over you. I saw them when I was little. I wish I could fly in one of those military airplanes. That'd be cool. Probably throw up though, and like pass out.
I'm gonna take
what?
this gold vending machine.
Oh, people landed with us.
Ooh, P90 and gold pump.
I gotta go do things for my brother in just a second, so I gotta hurry this up. He texted me like 30 minutes ago, and it seems important, so.
Who? James?
My brother. No.
Oh, your real brother.
My real brother. And I didn't see his text until now, so. Did any squad land here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
They
anyone land
landed
at
in
hotel?
me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where they went. Yeah, there's somebody in front of me.
It seemed like, okay, I'm coming.
Yeah, dude, there's a kid on me.
I'll be okay. It's only one guy.
Alright, well, there's a kid on me, so.
Oh, E-Hard left. Okay, get everything in the right position. Get some more mass.
Oh my god, dude, I cannot hit a shot. I just said follow. Like a BOT. Did you get them all?
There's only 2, I think.
Hey.
No, there's one on me. 27 blue. One's no shield, one's lasered, one's lasered.
Yay! What a fun way to kill somebody.
Alright, I gotta go do something for another.
Okay, take your time. Welcome back, Chris Ruley.
Are there any meds? Cause
yeah, I have a shield.
I dropped you a mini.
Alright, epics. Alright, I'll be right back.
BRB. Let's pick it up for him. Drop it in front of him.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, let me go deliver the minis. I don't. That was on my next agenda to get those. And actually, hopefully, I would say not by the end of this. By the way before the end of this week, I should have some more badges. I really want to do something neat and creative.
I have it with 2 go.
Cute.
When he gets back.
Because this is already neat in and of itself. Look at that transition.
I'm back.
Right? Cool transition right there. And then bam.
Huh?
That was nice. Oh, here. Here. Terrabin has a roof here.
Oh, thank you. Alright.
I mean, if you guys want to pop these rifts that are here, save this for late game.
Yeah, let's save it.
Heck yeah.
Is there a cozy anywhere, like around here? Or...
What health are you at?
I'm at 59.
At the pirate camp.
I could drop you 2 bandages.
There's a pirate camp. Wow. Ripped it. I'm just looking for a coconut. Where'd the coconut go? You should make a VIP badge. Yeah. I'm gonna start doing all that stuff really soon because it looks like the stream's gonna start popping off, so I wanna be ready.
Yeah, you get some. I only needed one.
Oh, there's gonna be more at this tree.
I just need mats, to be honest.
Ooh, 99 shield. That's triggering.
Eat a cocoa nut.
That hurts the soul. See if I get lucky in ones here. Yay!
Oh, you thought that.
199 is embarrassing. For real, dude.
I need to eat 5 coconuts.
Alright, let's take those streams, boys. Storm's coming up pretty soon. Alright, I was gonna say, I'm not crazy.
You wanna... Here, let's just go somewhere near the middle, like somewhere around here, just so that way we can, I'm gonna loot the chest real quick. Menus.
Doesn't that match my skin so good?
Yeah.
Oh, coconuts.
I like that. Pow, 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 pow. Oh, that's a good one. It's always good to go back to a classic. Man, you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
French bullet check. I'll take this rip.
Okay. He's gonna take that rip.
Yeah,
I'm waiting.
Oh, we're gonna end? Oh. Oh,
I'm gonna land out.
Alright, I'm following you guys. I'm following John. He knows what he's doing. I think.
Sometimes. I want to go for those chests, but freaking hit the guys up.
Oh, there's a blue compass. Somebody wants it.
3 chests over here. Oh my.
Oh, do you know where you got shot at? Oh, I'm getting shot at. Oh, they're at the pirate camp.
Okay.
Oh my.
Oh, there's a ton of fighting in Salty too.
Which one are we pushing?
Oh my. Okay.
I mean, you guys just want to take this one? It's closer.
Which one? Where are we going?
Yeah, let's take this fight. Right here.
There's also this kid right there.
Not taking that one.
Okay. Fight. I'm about to grab fight.
Same.
It's a squad of 4, I believe. They're shooting at me.
This one has no idea where I am.
Dude. He's sweating. 62 head. Good shield. Oh, knock one.
Knock 2.
I need to reload, dude.
I'll contest them.
I'm reloading.
Okay.
I shot him down. He caught himself. He's sweating, dude. Got him.
Nice.
I caught you lacking, boy.
Try to trap me.
Is there like a normal
That
AR?
was me.
Oh, I was like, man, he didn't do a great job at it. Abdu Frodo wants to join. Heck yeah, brother.
Oh wow, you're weak now.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They,
there should be a kizzy.
they definitely took shots at me.
Yeah, there's campfire down here.
Coming
how
down.
many things is that? 10. Epic. Let's do it. Oh, it's here, Ben. If you want to get some HP, that's fine.
Alright,
Gotta move in a circle. Hey, go to settings and color my and colorblind and enable visually sound effects. Go to
Do
settings.
not.
No,
You can't.
you can't hear then.
Oh.
It's meant for like people like deaf people.
You're trying to
It's
troll
OP,
me,
but-
Chris? Really?
It takes off your sound and then it'll just tell you where chests and footsteps and stuff are.
No, it's really OP, but it's not the funnest to play on because it's boring.
Yeah, you can't hear anything. Because it'll tell you exactly where the footsteps are.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why that little girl's so good. The one on Twitch. She knows where we're at. Wow.
Because Fortnite audio is broken, so using it like actually tells your thing is.
I bet you there's pros that play on that.
Oh, yo, you wanna play tetherball? Here, hit me. Just like hit my ball.
Oh, okay. I've never played tetherball.
Basically,
You just hit
the
it
ball
back and forth.
Yeah. Oh,
What just
happened?
I win. That's what happened. Oh,
we built the game.
No, we did.
Dude, why is it like what? It keeps on.
You get mats.
I dropped on those kids and headshotted both of them.
Oh. People over there.
I have 2 launch pads.
Wait, hold up. I want someone to go ahead and like hit the grappler part or the string of my ball.
Alright.
I'm curious what. Like, does
Okay.
it do something? No, get in the way. Like, just run through it. That's weird. I have no idea why that was.
You said there's people on that mountain? Oh yeah, I see kids.
Where?
Right
Oh,
there,
yeah, I see
in
'em.
front of us. I mean, I have a launch pad if you guys want it.
Oh!
What's he got?
We hit those.
Get that launch pad.
Have you seen that clip of a guy with like a
That was behind you.
super fast?
Don't let them pick up my kill.
No, you took it.
Got one.
Anybody? Okay. Wow, these guys were stacked, dude.
Yeah, dude. I need mats, like wood.
Better assault
That's it.
rifle anywhere?
Oh, there should be a scar in there.
Scar?
I grabbed it.
Oh, okay. No biggie.
Oh.
Because I had an AK in there. Bloom on that's whack.
Oh, man, that's terrible. I'd rather play without an assault rifle.
Exactly. Or actually, I don't, because I want to actually like be able to get long range. But
Wait, we
is this a fight or is this like?
No, we're going in
okay,
the
that's not
zone.
new.
Or out of zone. Ah.
Yeah.
Dude, I hit that kid 105, 30 something, and then I just see him get one shot. Like,
My bad.
you're good. Oh, John got the whole squad then.
No, I got one.
Yeah, he got one.
There's a solo coming in. Right onto the
There's some
mountain.
people on top of there.
Yeah, I think that's where he dropped.
Shoot him down.
Yeah, he's right there. Oh, tag 22. Blue.
Hey there, guys.
I clipped your shot holding.
Yeah. Everybody wanna be like me. Ooh, yeah. Everybody wanna be like me. Everybody wanna be like me. Bust down big chains and dress fancy.
Thank you for the hose. Ooh. Really appreciate it.
Oh, they're south.
South?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see one. Oh,
157 on that
I
guy.
seen that.
Got one.
Oh, dude, aren't you too?
They're
Trying to
actual
heal up.
bots. Oh my gosh, those kids are actual bots. And I'm being serious, he was standing, they both stood still, dude.
You just want to rush?
Yeah, we can. Well, you have a launch pad, right?
There's more kids gliding.
Yeah, there's more people coming in.
Yep, they're on me.
Yeah.
I'm coming. Oh yeah, I see him.
Alright. I have rockets. Well, not rockets, but let me just stick them. And he went all the way down. Broke my cankles for this kill.
Here, brother.
Got one.
Nice.
Got one.
They're both weak. There's one more in here. No, he's one up. He's so here. He's weak. He's weak. He went for the full kill, dude. He's so gay. He eats fat.
Got him. Watch out.
Woo.
Close.
So stupid. Why'd you go for the BM? I'm mad, dude. Well, we have 17 kills. It's 2v4.
Wait, where's the bus?
I don't think there is a
There
bus.
is none. Yeah, there's none around.
I think there is.
Think so? Oh no, there's none around. No.
How many kids?
The nearest one is right there. Alright, y'all, 2v4.
You.
Ouch. I got you.
Oh, they're coming.
He could get the res though. If they come in, they're gonna get bopped.
Oh. They're fighting somebody else.
Oh.
Well, they just took care of whoever that guy was. You have,
y'all, if you can get 3 kills, y'all have to wipe the rest of the lobby.
I got advantage.
Okay.
If y'all wipe the rest of the lobby, we have 20 kills. That's solid. They're nearby, they're nearby. They're at the very top.
Yo, I have a rift.
Okay. You wanna use it?
You have a grab height. Oh my goodness, dude. What is this?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
He's on me.
Oh, John's weak.
Yeah.
He's behind John. Oh, yeah. Behind
Dang.
you, behind you.
Dang, why did they hit me? Behind you, there's more.
No!
Yeah.
Was it 2 of them?
How many
or
did
3
we
of them?
have?
I don't. I didn't get the knife. Thank you, Hype Zone, for coming into the stream. Just feels bad, man. That close. That close. So close to a win.
Yeah, it was that BM dude. Why would he do that? And my bow didn't do any damage.
Nah, Fortnite the Epic takes out the shield for kill, right? To make it where people aren't aggressive in pubs. Everybody still finishes well to get the shield.
So it didn't do anything.
Hype Zone is moving to the next one.
So annoying.
Thank you, Hype Zone. See you, everybody. Everybody on Mixer, thanks for coming by.
Wait, what happened now?
I have 170 people watching me. I had 170 people watching me because of Mixer. When like you're about to win the Hype Zone on Fortnite, it'll move people across and stuff. It's pretty neat.
I'm gonna try it.
I'm getting hosted. Thank you so much, King Baller, for hosting me. I really appreciate it.
You guys wanna go Paradise again?
Yeah.
I've never used Mixer, so I don't know how to use it.
I've only streamed on YouTube. You know, I only have 50 subs though, so.
More than me. All I got is 33.
I need to come up with a new name though. I want to try and get a game.
Lots of stars.
That's good.
Kamikaze.
Yeah.
Yo, what's
We
up?
got somebody with a mic. Check 1, 2.
If only it was the real Kamikaze, dude.
I was just about to say that.
You
Easy
guys say
dub.
names and I'm just like, man, I wish I heard of them. Just saying.
Oh, we have a squad dropping.
All
Yo,
right.
my sensitivity feels like a 10.
Okay, alright. The thing wants to hang around, it can stay.
Yay, no gun. Let's go.
Where'd they land?
Oh, there's a kid next to me.
Kid in back house. Oh, one on roof. I'm trying to lose it.
I didn't tag him.
Me neither.
I'm pushing him. I have attack, so.
I don't have a shoddy.
Oh, no, this kid on me. He's got a new pump. Triple hybrid. Got him?
Nice.
Give me your pump, kid. It's my pump now. Ah!
Oh, yeah, one shot. Well, probably like 2 shot.
What is shield on that guy?
Oh my! Whole
You're
entire squad.
Making
Whole
them
entire
dance.
Squad.
Oh,
okay,
no.
I don't know. Go for it. Inside.
Oh my
Well, up to you.
Come on, John. They're all super.
How many are there?
There's one more. Let's go, John. Res.
No, just get the cards.
Yeah.
And he can res this wall.
Keep some loot there so we can get
Where y'all at?
ammo and stuff. Here, can I have my purple pump though? 'Cause all that
Of
loot.
course.
Let me get that blue pump.
Wait, did I not
I
pick
don't
up
know.
yours?
Yeah, all that loot.
I just need a shotgun.
Yeah, I'm leaving everything there, guys. Okay?
Alright,
I didn't touch it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just.
Do. Just like that, y'all back. Welcome back.
Who's gonna be first?
Oh, can I get that blue pump?
I mean, I don't have a pump, but go ahead, my friend.
No, the one that you just up in the vending machine.
Why can't he have it?
Well, he didn't pick it up.
Yeah, I left it for you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh. I need AR ammo. Hope there's some.
I need SMG armor.
I need an SMG.
Huh? Better than nothing.
Thank you.
So what?
Kamikaze ran over my loot on that.
Oh. Can you give me like 30 minutes? Okay. It's still leaking? The what? Okay. Man, what luck.
What happened?
I have to leave. I have to go do an errand.
Oh, okay. You have to leave now?
No. I'm gonna play this game out and then after this game I'll take off.
Alright.
Ah,
Yeah, I probably should go after this game as well.
feels bad me. Oh, you have to go somewhere?
Yeah, I have to get ready to go to bed.
Oh, you gotta go again?
I haven't been there in a week. Oh, I went there this week. for one day. But it was just for like a family reunion. Because my aunt came to town. I still haven't destroyed any, or I haven't finished the destroyed cacti in the desert challenge yet.
I hate those kind of challenges.
Exactly, they're so time consuming, like.
It takes so many games to do.
My arm is hurting.
Thank you for the follow, Royal Aim 123. Really appreciate it. Alrighty. I'm ready. Just waiting for next zone. Come on, coconut. No coconut. Wow. Just laying on the floor right
Oh,
there.
John, I have a mini for you.
Oh, there's a coconut, right? Oh, I thought you got a coconut.
Yeah.
That's why I popped it.
Alright, I got another coconut over here. There's plenty of trees to go around. What's up, E-Hard? Oh, it bring me back to 100 health.
John, there's a mini over here for you.
Oh, okay. In your way. All right. Well, this wins the giveaway. I think it's gonna end in. I think it is gonna end in 2 weeks. But you just push exclamation point giveaway, and I have the link, and then you can do a couple of things to enter the giveaway.
I might be able to Twitch Prime sub before it ends. Hopefully.
I moved it to 2 weeks.
Oh, you deleted it?
No, I moved it. I moved it like 2 weeks farther because I didn't get too many entries. So I was like, let me push it back a little more.
That's smart.
I should put on there like must be present to win, you know? So at the end of the giveaway, I can have a lot of people. Is it iTunes or... No, it's Spotify. But it's like no copyright music.
Wait, the gift cards for Spotify?
No. The gift card's just a regular gift card.
Oh, it's like a piece of gift card.
Yeah. I actually got it for getting AT&T, so I'm just using that. Because I got the high-speed internet in my name, so they gave me a free Visa gift card. I was like, shh, give it away.
Our teammates still in paradise. Kamikaze.
Kamikaze?
Can wait for
Oh,
him.
my golden venom.
Yeah, you can use Spotify. You just can't play music that you'll get
here?
copyrighted for. You
There's
got
a scar.
There's an RPG.
a couple of playlists that literally say no copyright music. So
Yeah, I'll take it.
Thank you for the follow. Shot. Shiny Chancla. I'm gonna go with Shiny Chancla. You have 10 viewers? No way, I'm going off. Who just put... Who's mobbing? Who just put who? You know you like it. And that's because that's just... James Bot, that's just on Twitch.
Oh, is he watching you?
Yeah.
My average viewers like 3 or 3 now. It's epic.
How do you enter? In the Twitch chat, you put exclamation point giveaway, and it gives you a link, and then in there, since you already followed me, you basically enter. But once you open that up, it'll tell you how to enter, what to do, and all that good stuff. All that jazz. Invite me after that game. Feels bad, man, but I'm actually leaving. But I'll be back hopefully on like within an hour or 2.
I'm gonna try to stream. I see a kid planning.
I need to just think of a good name to rename my channel.
Oh, yeah, there's a kid on me.
I don't have a good name.
Right there.
Mine, I'm trying to think of just something that's like creative.
This kid's building.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how creative is mine? You're like 0.
Kids on me. You see him? There's 3.
Yeah.
I think it's a total of 4.
21 shield on 1. Come on, Bloom, do work.
Holy crap, dude, I cannot hit a shot.
Definitely snipe me.
Oh, that's good on that kid. Bloom shot.
There's one on the mountain.
Aiden stream quality sucks. Yeah, you gotta start somewhere, my friend. Yeah,
what do you
it's because of my, it's because of the, it's not the stream quality, it's my actual game.
42 shield.
The stream quality is fine, it's in 720p.
I use OBS in my stream.
If it looks bad to you,
but I use it.
It's because you're so bad.
You know what I tell them? If it looks bad to you, go watch somebody else.
Just like
it lags a lot. Yep.
Oh yeah, my internet.
26, he has no more. Ooh, he got knocked. That a boy kamikaze.
Yo, you want to rush the fight?
42 shield. I did. I'm watching you. Wow. There's somebody else coming on top of us.
There's a big fight. They look like
no shield on this kid.
Full default squad. There's a full default squad.
Where?
Right up on this pirate thing.
Oh, dude. I'm a bot, dude.
Trying to get there with you guys. I'm here with you guys. Watch out, somebody's landing on us.
He's on flash.
Yeah, he is.
One tap, dude. I'm pushing this kid. Where'd he go? Come here, boy.
Gotta go to zone.
You're mine. You're mine, boy. You can't run forever.
Y'all alright? Y'all got him or what?
Me and this kid are just cat and mouse him, dude. Oh, he's going over to another kid, dude. I fell. No, I'm dead. I'm dead, dude.
Follow him, chase them, go, go, go.
There's a duo up there. Chase him!
I'll go to the top.
He's in the room.
Got him. Ooh! Oh, watch out, be careful. He put a trap. He was good with those traps, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting sniped at.
Oh, Cozy. There's
Oh,
no kamikaze.
they're coming down the mountain. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
I have minis for you, John.
Okay.
Oh,
no.
you're outside.
Can y'all come down to me if possible?
I'll
Leave me
come
alone. Yeah, trying to heal up as much as I can. Oh, perfect.
Oh! The door's on the way, dude. I need help. Kamikaze! Do you have any more bandage, Sean?
No, I popped them all.
Oh, kamikaze does. Okay. It's fine, it's fine. Here, Tervin, you took one. Soda coming up.
Hit them both for 42 shield. They're way in the back over there. I got heavy snipers up. I was Edward a mod. You are too,
dude,
you
we're in a
bot.
scrim. Look at this scrim, dude. Can someone carry this mini? Oh, here, Tervin, drink it, drink it.
Here you are.
I am stacked on mats for a scrim, dude. I love scrims, and anytime we get into a scrim, I win. It's just the truth.
Be careful there. They're all
Table
going to
bow,
the
watch
right.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. That too. Ooh. Been a fan for the longest time. That's right.
Oh, dude! Tomahawk! It's all your fault, man. Someone go for us. Someone go for us. Dude. Alright, there we go. He just so
I'm distracted these guys with my insane builds.
pop him.
Are you kidding me?
I need to pop one more. Mom's there.
Ooh, I didn't want to shoot.
Where is it?
Boy, Tervin.
Is this kid weak though?
Or Kamikaze. Dude, Kamikaze's picking us up.
He's dead. Okay, I'm dead. I'm dead.
It's alright. Kamikaze
Oh, it's his?
Tervin's story.
Popping bandies. I need help. I don't know how weak he is, but.
Oh no, you're gonna have to leave him. Two v 5, boys. Y'all got this.
There's one on the other side of the mountain.
That kid just had to build that, right?
I'm popping bandies.
For real, right?
Had to.
Do you have a cozy kamikaze?
Did he mute me?
Oh. Thank you.
Or he's just not talking?
You are stacked on me.
For real, dude.
I'm gonna go for this drop, dude.
We got a 10-kill game, boys. Let's keep it
I got
going.
carried. Let's go. I got carried.
I know, I'm getting carried. Oh no. Yeah. My kamikaze, dude.
Oh, Chuck. Here.
Last game.
There's a kid on me, dude.
Last game I had 6 kills. This game I have 0.
Pro turtling, dude.
Kamikaze, dude.
I
Taking care of business.
You actually just killed 3 kids. We're fine.
Kamikaze, dude.
I don't think. And they've hired. Oh, they
Well,
took
they
a
have to
cam.
come down. 2v2, baby.
Yeah, they are gonna have to come down.
Well, one was in a cannon, one's on me.
Oh,
Oh,
they already came down.
Come, cuz. I have height. Omega height.
Nice.
Kamikaze's one shot.
One's super weak, one's in a shield. The soccer.
It's a 2v1.
Red. He's so weak.
Jeez! Ooh, let's go! Woo! Let's go.
Let's go with a win!
Cheers, man.
That's how you do it. Alright, now I gotta go. I gotta go with my dad.
Alright, see ya.
Later, guys. Thank you
Cheers,
so
peace.
much to everybody checking out the stream. I will be back. I will be on later. I don't know when, but I will be back on.